Hey world, this is Brian Wallace with Wally Designs. Today we're going over a very simple concept in Salesforce for uh, standard objects. So what is a standard object? Basically, it's out of the box functionality, components, bit database tables that Salesforce provides. So they are predefined database tables in Salesforce that are used for common business information. So some common objects accounts, contacts, lead, opportunity, case, campaign, product, order. So these are, if you're just going to think about them, if you're not familiar with relational databases, think of if you ever used Excel, like we have basically just a field. So let's say we have a series of fields like name, phone number, um, for the accounts, for the business address. So let's say we have Edge Communications or, like Geico or something like that, right? Their whatever their phone number is, right? Their address, 123 Main Street, right? So now we're keeping track of all of our customers. So essentially, if I could just go and say, okay, let's look at this is Salesforce. This is my developer console or developer org. It's like a practice org. I'll put this link in the description. If you don't have a developer org, you can sign up here. And even within Trailhead, you're going to be able to create many different playground orgs to try to experiment with different features and functionality within Salesforce on your learning journey. All right. So that being said, this is the sales app. So if you're ever curious, the app launcher here, you're going to be able to see all these different applications that you can launch. For the most part, I'm going to keep it simple. We can just make sure we're on the sales, not the sales console, but the sale. For me, this is a personal. But yes, if I hit sales, now I'm confirmed on the Sales Cloud homepage, right? So this is our homepage. Each different object is going to get its own tab, unless you remove the tab. I can get into that later. But like I said, we can click on any tab. You can play around with list views. I'll just make short videos on each different component here or feature. But this is, you can click on each object. I'm going over accounts, Edge Communications. I can go ahead and click an account. You can see different related records as well as if I hit the details tab, the different fields that are in the around the object. Some of these are going to be right, out of the box. But if I go ahead and hit this gear icon, I can just go to setup or just click edit object here. Now I'm going to be able to see the settings for that object. We'll get into the basics here and then get into page layouts and later stuff in later videos. But really, you can see all the fields that are on the object. You can see most of these, if they're on the page layout, will be on the detail side, the details tab here. So there's going to be fields. So like you could just think of the account as an Excel sheet or a Google Sheets or an Excel sheet here. When we go ahead and we have our metadata, so the actual field names that we create, and then what users are typing in as they enter in values. So if they were to create a new account, they would type in the company name, right? Like Geico, their phone number, maybe their business address, right? So maybe something like I created a custom field, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So we can look up to an internal user. Maybe we want to look up to a contact. So if I go to contacts, so just like that, accounts, there's going to be metadata, and then there's going to be the values that the users are typing in. So John Doe, maybe that's a contact that's on an account, right? So we can make lookup relationships or other different types of relationships. We'll get into relational database concepts later in later videos. But this is just covering out of the box functionality from Salesforce. Every org Everyone using Salesforce has accounts, contacts, opportunities, orders. So we're going to be able to unpack a lot of these features. I added a custom field called user. So I can go in here and you notice I can't type in random gibberish. That's not the type of record, right? So my name is Brian Wallace. I can save this here. And now I can say like, oh, this is now relating to a different standard object. So now it's like basically just making a connection. If you've ever played around making apps in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, you can do very similar things. Excel is always the number two best tool for everything. Shout out to Microsoft Excel. All right, so that being said, standard objects. We can relate standard objects to each other. We'll get into some of the discrepancies, but some of the limitations and why you might need a different data set. Like if you were in Excel and you just needed a different sheet, you'd be able to just quickly create a new sheet, rename that sheet, and say, oh, I need. We just have, let's say, a sign-in sheet that customers, when they come in, they fill out a welcome form or something like that. That maybe we have a welcome form object that relates to accounts, and so we'll be able to go into that. But basically, just wanted to cover the basics. People sometimes get confused. What's an account? Okay? What's going on here? Very simple. An account is a company. A contact, you could see even when I go to accounts, what is related. You can see these two contacts that are on the account. So if I just click Sean Forbes here, you can see that they're on this account. And like accounts, there's all these different fields that are on accounts. So maybe I wanted to edit this object and maybe add a field. And so let's just go here. Maybe I wanted, so there should be a type, maybe not. So maybe I go here, add a different type. I'm going to have to pick a different data type, a data type. So if you're confused about a data type or don't know what that is, if you've ever formatted anything in Excel, so if you have a number here, so a data type can be a currency, maybe it's a percentage field, maybe it's just a number field. So you're going to be able to picture formatting. Formatting is important. If I make a number field and I go to type a text in, Salesforce will block you. So it'll preserve data integrity. Make sure you don't have as much gibberish or BS data inside your org. So standard objects, they already have some relationships, and to even go into the set, if you click the gear icon and go into the back end of Salesforce, I can just give you a basic view, a visual representation of this through the schema builder. So this is just good for anyone new to relational databases. So you can see that account is related to opportunity. We'll get into that later. If you're not from opportunity is typically how companies keep track of their potential orders, future orders. Let me look and come on, Brian, contact. And let's get rid of opportunity. It's not so confusing. So let me zoom out. So really simple. It's not, the details aren't as important, but we have a lookup relationship from account to contact. And you can see that lookup relationship. So you can see now, like if I had an Excel sheet, we have an account and contact. We have two different sheets, but they're related now, like they're siblings or something. So you can think of it like that. But the schema builder is going to basically say, okay, these are like two different Microsoft or Google Sheets, right? And now they're related to one another. I can go and add a new account, and then add a contact on that account. just to keep track of everything. So super simple concept, standard objects, out of the box, data sets available to you. We'll get into custom objects for future um, projects that you're working on. I've built out a tremendous amount of custom objects for clients or employers. So yeah, we'll get into a little bit more of the complicated stuff later. We're going to go over a lot of the standard features in Salesforce, and then go as far as the how to build apps with the UI, with using the flow builder, and then even get into some Apex code so you can really become a proficient Salesforce administrator. So cheers to simple concept. Hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless.